Feels good. Yeah, feels good. It's been calming down, and it's in a good spot.
Okay. This is, you were not happy with the way the game went Sunday. Obviously, you're aware that a lot of the fans weren't happy. How have you dealt with the last few days? What's been your reaction to all
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously, unfortunately, been in these situations before. We've gone on a couple skids even this year, and it's such a quick turnaround every week in the NFL. You can't really dwell on it. You have no time. And I say it every week, and it sounds cliche, but you turn on the tape, you watch it, you learn from it, and you move on. And that's ultimately we don't change that mindset whether we're 0-5, 5-0, it doesn't really matter. That's kind of our mindset and our approach. And guys, I think, are in a good place with that. And just, we're excited to get back out there on Sunday.
What did you learn?
Yeah, the biggest thing is the turnovers. You got to protect football. You can't put it on the ground, and that starts with me. Obviously, turned it over a couple times in the game, and I can't do that. And so, you just got to learn from those mistakes and those plays, and sometimes eat it when it's there. Like I said, we're excited to get another opportunity here Sunday.
Is there anything you can do when you're in the pocket to not have the ball? I know only one of them really was.
Yeah, put two hands on the ball. At the end of the day, that's something I turn on the tape and get frustrated with myself because instincts take over, and my instincts need to be to put two hands on the ball and protect it.
But as a follow-up to that, you said in this setting last week that it's the fine line that you always combat. If you put two hands on the ball, are you less able to kind of extend the play?
You could make that argument. It's just you got to know when you're in the pocket, when you're clean, and when you're not. When there's guys around, you got to put two hands on it. Whether once you get out and you're able to make something happen, things kind of change. But like you said, it's always the fine line, and those are plays I got to clean up and I got to be better with.
How do you know when to try to extend plays? I know it's a constant process, but where are you with that?
Yeah, it's a constant process. Knowing when to pick and choose, and obviously there's plays to be made. There's scrambles last game even. We're able to pick up first downs and stuff, and other times when even if you do take a sack, I just can't put it on the ground. At the end of the day, I got to be able to put two hands on the ball, protect it, and not put it on the ground.
Carson, how do you rally this team? You guys have a real tough stretch here, trying to make the playoffs, 2 tough games. How do you rally the team, turn the page, and really flip the switch here? It's really do or die time.
Yeah, it's one day at a time. I know it's, you got 5 games left. There's a lot of things going on, but at the end of the day, we can only, be prepared one day at a time and take it one day at a time and 1 week at a time. And we got to get this thing going in the right direction first. And then next week will take care of itself. And then in 3 weeks, that'll take care of itself. And so guys are excited. Guys are excited just to flush that one out and move on. We have a lot of confidence in the way the defense has been playing. They've been playing exceptional football. And we know as an offense, if we just pick up our part, myself, starting with me, we'll be in a good place.
What have you seen that leads you to believe that you guys are going to be able to do everything that you talk about, your teammates talk about?
Yeah, it's just there's so many little things within the game. You turn on the tape, and the biggest thing was the turnovers. We take out those turnovers. We had opportunities where we were moving the ball, and we were doing some decent things. Could it be better? Absolutely, but the turnovers are the biggest things we got to clean up. But we have confidence that we can. We've played mistake-free football before, and we know that that's something that we can do. And like I said, we have a ton of confidence in the way the defense is playing. So we just pick up our share on offense, we'll be all right.
Doug had mentioned a little bit about footwork. I know some of that is because the pocket's closing. You can't step into it. But I know you've worked on your footwork before, very minor changes. Have you noticed in looking at the film that there is something there? Mechanically, is it really hard to make in-season adjustments?
I haven't really noticed anything huge. There's always a few plays here and there every game, where you're like, I could have been better. Could have set my feet there, could have done this or that. But I noticed that week 1. I noticed that, week 10. I know, that's football. And so that's something that I always got to be, every week, every offseason, just really focus on. And, there's a couple here and there within the game, but I haven't noticed any trend or anything like that.
In the summer, in the last few games where it seems like either the receivers, you weren't synced up with the receivers for whatever reason. How does that happen this late in the season, and is that kind of disturbing to you?
Yeah, it's always frustrating to not be on the same page, and that starts with me. I got to be clear with what we're expecting and what we're seeing, and just be more decisive. And there's no excuses with that. Like you said, it can be frustrating this late in the season when you're having those mistakes, and it's something that we can talk about in advance so that those mistakes don't happen out on the field. And those are things that we've looked at, we've talked about, and we'll get corrected.
In the summer, you mentioned the importance of kind of playing free and not letting the stress bog you down. Has that been more difficult the last couple of weeks?
Not really. Just because, I know that there's always stress, there's always pressure, there's always that stuff. And for me, just to be confident in who I am, in the good, the bad, the ugly, I don't really get caught up in what people say, think, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I'm confident in who I am as a player. You're going to go through highs and lows. You're going to go through peaks and valleys. And for me, just being confident in who I am as a person, as a player, and as a man of God, that's really all that matters. And I have so much confidence in my ability to turn this around and do my best and get these things fixed, that I don't get too high or too low going through these things.
Carson, what type of advice has Josh McCown given you in games, and what have you learned from him during his time here?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been awesome. Like I said, another set of eyes, just to talk through, where could I have gotten the ball quicker, just little things like that. And at the same time, just keeping me, level-headed. Sometimes I come off the field, I'm frustrated. We didn't hit a play, I missed a throw, whatever. And he's always there, to console me or whatever he needs to do or get me going again. And he's been awesome on the sideline, but then also during the weeks. We meet every morning and just going through the tape together. He's been awesome to work with.
He coaches high school football. Do you see kind of the coach in him when you guys go through film? And
you can definitely see it. You can definitely see it. And, whether it's the coach or just the experience, that's really what jumps out. Is he's been around for so long, seen every defensive look that there is, and his experience just really shines through when you talk football with him.
I know you said that you came in this week and you turn on the tape and sort of turn the page, but how do you spend Sunday night after a game like that?
I spend it, the same way I always do, with my family and those types of things. And, almost every Sunday night after a game, I watch the tape before I go to bed. And for me, that's kind of where I reflect and kind of see where I can be better. And then Monday, you kind of do the same thing, and then it's turn the page, and, I try and be the same whether we're, undefeated or completely defeated. It doesn't really matter. I try and stay the same with my approach, with my routine and all of that. And so, that didn't really change Sunday.
You spoke a few minutes ago about being on the same page with your wide receivers. A video went around this week of Dan Orlovsky showing different examples of plays where you might have thought something, the receivers were thinking something else. I'm curious if you saw that video. And
I did not know.
And how many times when you watch the film, like, are there plays where you feel you're doing what you're supposed to do and just there's a miscommunication?
Yeah, anytime there's miscommunication, I fault myself, just because those are things that as a quarterback, as a leader, especially when you have young receivers and different things, that I got to be in advance, making sure we're on the same page. I got to be more proactive. And so those are things I got to clean up. I got to be better and lead those guys better. So those are things that we've talked about, we've got corrected.
Has your thought process at all been sidetracked with so many moving parts? This past weekend it's the offensive line, receivers kind of coming in and out. I know you don't want to use that as an excuse, but there seems like there'd be a natural tendency to kind of wonder what's going on up front and with the receivers.
Yeah, I think, anytime in game, that you have injuries, you have those different types of things, that's something that you're trying to piece together as you go. But, when you have injuries that you can prepare for all week, that thought process is kind of out. It's just we're playing, we're trusting who's in there and we're going. So, we've had games this year where guys have, fallen, and gone down mid-game, and that's when, you're really trying to, make sure everyone's in the right spot and lined up. But, when we've had, weeks where we're prepared for guys to not be on the field, that is by no means an excuse, and we're full speed ahead.
What are you seeing from receivers like JJ and Greg Ward, two guys who probably have a bigger role as the season goes along now, and just how far they've come?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good from them. I've seen, some big catches, some big plays, and, we see it more in practice. We see it more in practice, just whether it's routes on air, one-on-ones, or just going against, the scout defense. I see their confidence is growing every week. I got a lot of confidence in them, and I'm just seeing their confidence and seeing them make plays in the game, I think just really boosts them and keeps them going forward. And like you said, they'll be a big part of what we do really the remainder of the year.
You had a third down pass that was batted. You were moving to your left. I think JJ was open. You've had a few of those this season. Do you see any trend in why those passes, or is it throwing? Is it a throwing lane thing, or is it guys are reading your?
Yeah, there's really no big trend. I think different teams kind of coached to do that, when guys are blocked or whatever, to jump or put their hands up. And, there's really no big trend with that.
What was your a shared mentality with the city before? How does that help you in moments like these where the heat has kind of been turned up?
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it after the game, being booed and all of that. And, they have a right to be frustrated. They pay money to sit in those seats. They pay money to cheer us on. And, they're so passionate about it. And I'm the same way. So when they're frustrated, I'm frustrated too. And so for me, just to walk that fine line and still not get too high or low, no matter what it is. But, I mean, without a doubt, they have the right to be frustrated when we're slumping the way we are these last 2 weeks. But at the same time, I'm excited to go forward, and hopefully they're excited to see us turn this thing around.
What was your vantage point of what Brandon Brooks experienced on Sunday?
I didn't get to see it. I know Brandon really well as a player. Obviously, he's exceptional, but as a person, just an awesome guy, awesome teammate, and knowing that he's battled with those things for a long time. And for me, I'm just so proud of him. To be able to come out and say, hey, this is what I deal with. And I think that really uplifts and could change so many young people's lives around the world, knowing that here's this NFL all-star player, Pro Bowl player, arguably the best at his position, and he goes through it, and he's not ashamed, he's not embarrassed, and he can talk about it. And so obviously it's frustrating and it's tough, when he's not able to play, but to know that he's going through that, seeing the guys and myself included support him and just, be there to support him and pray for him. Like I said, I'm just really proud that he's open and honest about that, and confident he'll be out there this week.
Good. Thanks,
Thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.